Earlier today, Eli Tomac took his first motocross moto win in over a year, taking down the previously nearly unstoppable Ken Roczen. But the rematch is coming your way in front of a wild group of motocross fans here in New England. It's the Southwick National on NBC. Finally, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship has come back to Southwick. It's the Red Bull Southwick National. They call it the Wick 338, a famous motocross track here nestled into the trees in a small town. We're joining you, Jason Wygant, multi-time motocross and Supercross national champ Grant Langston. Georgia Lindsay will be patrolling the racetrack. We completed a first moto of the 450 class earlier today, and let's show you what it looked like. Looks like Marvin Muscan is going to get the start here in the number 25. He plows wide. Justin Bogle takes the lead, and then a pack of riders goes down. At the bottom of that pile, just getting up in the center, is Justin Barsha, who is your fast qualifier. He'd come from that all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, Barsha was on fire, but the battle was up front. Tomac put the hammer down, caught up to Roczen, and it just blows up the inside. Once he took that lead, Jason, he put his head down and absolutely checked out. Great ride from Tomac.
There was no stopping him. Tomac dominated early last year, then had a pair of shoulder injuries knock him out of the championship. It has taken about 14 months to get back to this point on top in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Here are the results from that first moto. Muscan, a good ride for 3rd, and Barsha, as mentioned, through traffic for 6th. We will combine these results with the results of our moto coming up here live to determine today's overall winner. Let's get a little data on the riders courtesy of LitPro. That's a GPS device on the riders' helmets.
Yes, we got a little data from the first moto between Muscan and Roczen. So watch them from the start there. Different lines. You can see Roczen carries more speed and stays about even with Muscan, but despite traveling 56 feet longer. Then he sets himself up for the next section, and if you look at the mile an hour, 31 versus 26.
And they're even faster in this section. Roczen almost 7 miles an hour faster through there. These are small differences in the lines that the riders are taking. You can see the 2 different paths that they take, trying to figure out where smoother lines are on this rough track.
Now we see them side-by-side comparison, and entering the corner, they're about the same, but in the middle of the turns, if you look at Roczen's mile an hour, 27 versus Muscan, who was 23, that's 15% more in the middle of the corner. That's huge.
Absolutely. Roczen was able to edge Kenny was able to edge Muscan for 2nd in the first moto, but that first moto 2nd place was the first time this year you could really say that Roczen was beaten straight up. He lost one other moto earlier this year, but he was leading and he had bike problems. Second half of the year, is he going to change his approach?
My mental state doesn't change at all then from the beginning of the season. Obviously, we want to continue winning races. I think if you would start to get comfortable and worry about the championship, it's just, you're kind of going to go backwards and things will happen. So I'm just going to approach the races or the upcoming races just as I approached them previously to this one, and go out, get a good start, trying to stay out of trouble, and put all the focus down, be mistake-free. I think that's the most important. We don't want to do any big mistakes and lose a big or lose big points. So we're just going to keep it on 2 wheels and do our thing as we have done the whole time.
It's only been 3 years since we've raced here at Southwick, but this track is so unique, it's kind of irreplaceable, and these fans in the area especially missed it dearly. So it feels like it's been much more than 3 years, and the riders are very excited about being back here as well.
Southwick is great. I'm glad that it's back on the schedule.
Motocross is pretty rough, and that's a sand track, so you know you're gonna have a lot of roots, a lot of sand everywhere.
It's definitely a tough track, especially with how rough it gets in the hard base. So it's gonna be interesting. I've been there a couple of times, I believe. So it'll be interesting, and I'm excited to go back there.
I think Southwick's one of the more iconic races, and I think I'm excited to go back to Southwick.
It's kind of an iconic place, so it's cool to be back there.
NBC Sports live coverage of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship will return to Southwick right after the break. The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Red Bulletin, Experience the Men's Active Lifestyle magazine. And by KTM. We're ready to race. Visit us at ktmusa.com.
Seeing some of the all-time greats there of motocross. So much history soaked into this deep sand here at Southwick. It's so great to be back. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay at the GoPro starting gate.
Yes, the number 19 of Justin Bogle. He got his best result in the first moto with 4th place. He has had 3 whole shots in the last 3 races. He got to ride press day for just a few minutes. He managed to change his KYB suspension. He's way more comfortable. He threw in an MX-11 tire. He said he's feeling way better than he has for the entire season. Stuff is starting to click, and he's ready for Moto 2.
Yeah, and the MX-11, that's the deep sand tire, and you're going to need it for this track, Grant. It's the Kawasaki track map.
Yeah, you do. Some parts are actually a little hard at the base, but make it right, different to previous years. Past the Fran Mechanics area, one of the highest speed parts of the track, over the old finish line jump. Then you come up here, we saw some aggressive passing into this turn in the first motos. Will we see some more? This section, a little bit new, that little kink in there. And as you see from the arrow, it looks pretty smooth. We know from Southwick history, it just gets rougher and rougher as the day goes on. Come back over this crest, now to the middle part of the track that has literally, I don't think, ever changed. Some sweeping turns, good passing opportunities over the old finish line. And then we're going through the right, left, this tight section. We've seen a lot of lines, but a lot of them seem to be coming together at the exit of the corners, which is making passing have to be a little aggressive. This long sweeper right creates different lines as well as a lot of chop. Then you go back up a little bit, make this left. We've seen guys going to the very right and the very left of the straightaway, trying to find some smooth ground, but carry your speed all the way down Henry Highway over the Fly Racing jump. And this is a little bit off camber, and it's like the never-ending left-hander. Eventually tightens up, you come back over what was also once upon a time the finish line. Make a right past the manager's tower, and that's a lap here at Southwick.
Shout out to Dustin Pipes, who is the Deltran battery tender RC hard charger from last week. He passed the most riders at our race 7 days ago in Michigan at Redbud. Here's the KTM keys to the moto for racing at Southwick.
Yeah, well, when you come to Southwick, you know what you're going to deal with. Sand. Lots and lots of sand. So for these guys, you got to be prepared for it. Of course, fitness. Fitness is going to come to effect. This track is very physically demanding. Second moto, everyone's pushing. And of course, adjustments. Who's made the right adjustments? You heard Georgia talking about Bogle making some adjustments. I know a lot of these guys figuring out what tire to run, what suspension adjustments, everything.
Totally unique surface compared to what we race all year. Hey, we got a live Fram Cam on board with Phil Nicoletti, and we're going to actually aim it at the rider. We normally aim it out front, but we're going to give you an idea of what these guys deal with when they're out here, how much they get jostled around by the machines as the Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Probably also see some sand being shoveled at Nicoletti when we start rolling. 40 riders on the gate. We're going to race for 30 minutes and 2 laps. Eli Tomac on the green number 3, going for his second moto win of the day.
Oh, Roxon got pinched, but he was able to sneak through pretty easily, and the whole shot to Bogle once again with a no-footer.
Woo! 4 straight hole shot for Bogle, but here comes Christophe Pourcel. The Frenchman on the 377 wants to take it away.
Well, Pourcel's got the inside coming in this corner, not able to quite make it happen there, but he still goes for it.
Oh, and he rams Bogle's front wheel, and Bogle goes down. Lines came together. You talked about that on that Kawasaki track map. Several sections of this track invite those tangle-ups, and it cost Bogle dearly. So now, Pourcel in the lead, dealing with Ken Roczen, your series points leader, who got to the lead in Moto 1, but he was hunted down by Eli Tomac, who is 4th at the moment.
So the question is, can Roczen get by Pourcel and stretch it out? He goes a long way around on a smooth line. He's got it. Has he? Yes, he seals the deal. So Roczen, once again, wasting no time. And guess who's coming with him? The big number 3, Eli Tomac, race 1 winner. He wants this overall, not to mention he needs to start chiseling away at Ken Roczen's point lead. So now Roczen leads. Pourcel takes a look over his shoulder, and that's who he didn't want to see with Eli Tomac.
Oh no, the other really fast guy here in the sand. Marvin Muscan on the 25 comes through, and Justin Barsha has a good start. Unlike the first moto where he was down to the ground early. And you already see the sand being kicked off the rear tires of these riders. That's where they have to deal with it. It's so hard to see when you're following someone at Southwick.
Oh, look at that. Tomac switching the lineup. Now what's he going to do? He's going to be on the outside. Is he going to square it up? He's going for it, and he's got a power slide going. Side by side once again. I think Tomac's going to seal the deal by the end of the straightaway. Yep, stays low there, gets a power to the ground, gets that done. So real quick.
We have the showdown we want. Yes, Roczen
Exactly.
Tomac 1-2. And that inside line, Tomac, that was his trademark move in the first moto. Just hooking him the inside where there was practically nothing to bank on and managing to make the bike get traction anyway. Then it's Porcel, then it's Musquin, then it's Barcia, then it's Nicoletti, who's running that live Fram cam. Give a chance to show you what it looks like to ride around one of the roughest motocross tracks in America, being bounced all over the place.
Yeah, it actually doesn't look that bad when you watch the normal view, but when you look at the onboard, you realize just how much movement and bouncing around. That's why I've always said motocross is very physical in many, many aspects.
Yeah, they got about 60 horsepower on these machines, but they only weigh a little over 200 pounds, so the power to weight ratio is right up there with any kind of motorsport. When you get on the gas, there's no seat or seat belts. The only thing holding you on is you. And you can see Nicoletti's doing everything he can to do that.
Well, power to weight ratio, you can almost say it's like having a 600 horsepower street car.
Right. Imagine having no back to the seat. Barcia is challenging Musquin. He wants to get up there and battle with Tomac and Roczen. He's got a pair of Frenchmen. He's got to get around. Now Barcia, originally from upstate New York, comfortable in these surroundings. Here he goes around the outside of Musquin.
Yeah, it goes a long way around, but has he got it done? Musquin not surrendering, fighting for it. So now Barcia has to go back to work. Barcia went down that first motor, but what a comeback from way back in the pack, basically dead last, all the way up to 6th. So we know he's got the pace.
Now it's going to mix things up as far as the overall today goes, because we will combine the results from Moto 1 and Moto 2. So it could be an all-out battle for the final 3 podium spots. We'll see if Musquin, Porcel, Barcia, they are all in the hunt for that, as Roczen and Tomac are up front. Right now, Roczen with about a 2-second lead as they settle in.
Barcia just eating roost. Now he's going to go to the inside. He's going to try and make this happen as soon as possible because, as we saw, just eating tons of roost. He's on the outside. Musquin's going to be defensive.
Oh! And Barcia puts him down.
Oh, Barcia went to the exit there. Definitely some aggression there.
Well, they call Barcia Bam Bam, and I do not need to explain any further than that as to why. That's what he's known for.
Well, he went Bam Bam right there.
Absolutely. So Barcia makes quick work of Musquin, and that might also affect that overall podium for the day when we combine those results. Barcia 6th in the first moto, now up to 4th. Can he track down Christophe Porcel, who's up ahead of him? Barcia on the Monster Energy Auto Trader Yamaha. That's Joe Gibbs Racing. The NASCAR outfit also runs a motocross team. And Nicoletti right behind him is his teammate on that squad. Ahead of him, Porcel is on the Rockstar Husqvarna. And we're going to show you the pass once again. Barcia, Musquin, I can tell you the fans absolutely love it because Barcia from upstate New York, raised not too far from here, they want to see this guy make moves like this.
Yeah, Barcia squares it up and then just goes straight to the exit. And I don't think Musquin expected it.
No. But the fans did. That's what they've come to know from Barcia through the years. Yeah, banging bars, taking names, and Barcia just did it.
Oh, here's that battle starting to brew that we were hoping for once again. So we got Roczen. It's almost a replay of Moto 1. They find themselves 1 and 2. But just like Moto 1, Tomac was able to close that gap down. His speed today has just been phenomenal. He is absolutely railing these corners. His corner speed's phenomenal. See, Roczen there just kind of came to a little bit of a standstill for him as you watch Tomac. There's no slowing down those mid-centers. And his exit speed is just phenomenal. His entrance speed's phenomenal too.
Yeah, puzzling too, because honestly those little dabs of the foot and whatnot, that is actually what Roczen has been so good at this year.
Keeping his feet on the pegs.
Yeah, but here he's had little dabs, little mistakes. Roczen is on the gas, but Tomac on the gas, I guess just that much harder. And they've stretched it already 12 seconds over Porcel, who's back in 3rd.
Yeah, these guys in a league of their own right now. It's going to be a 2-horse race. Can Roczen hopefully overcome some of the issues he's talked about in the first motor with the front suspension? We'll wait and find out.
Oh, look at the fans on the side. They are anticipating this battle. It was great in the first moto. Tomac got to him. He had to deal with some vision issues just by have all that sand in his face. Still managed to pull the trigger and make a pass. It's starting to tighten up, and you can hear the fans again.
Oh, the fans are going crazy. They've got air horns, they've got vuvuzelas, they've got chainsaws without a muffler on. It is getting loud out there, and I can only imagine if Tomac makes a pass from Roczen, that you're going to hear this place erupt once more.
Oh, they can sense it, they can feel it. The storm has come back to Southwick for the first time since 2013. And by the way, it was back in 2013 that these two guys were battling out as youngsters. Yeah, the 250 division, which is the stepping stone to this one. So these fans have seen these guys slug it out several times, but now they're doing it in the big class. The battle is beginning to build. The Red Bull Southwick National Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, the rough sand track at Southwick. Eli Tomac, number 3. Monster Energy Kawasaki has caught your leader. Ken Roczen, who's on the Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John Suzuki. They duked it out a little over an hour ago in the first moto. It was a fantastic race, and it looks like we're going to get it again. And every time Tomac gets a little closer than this, these hardy New England fans start to come to life. They got air horns. They got chainsaws without chains on them, so they can rev them all day long without danger. They got the vuvuzelas, which I know you're partial to, being South African. Let's send it back to Georgia with an update from the Fram Mechanics area.
Yes, the atmosphere down here is unbelievable right now. The Fram Mechanics area, all the team members are going crazy, and the rain has just started. This time, I think it's going to continue. Goggles will be an issue for this, I'm sure, but keep an eye out, and I'll let you know how the weather changes.
How does that affect things as it rains here in the sand?
Oh, rain is never anyone's friend in motocross because they don't have windshield wipers, so you can't clear it. So you have to use tear-offs. So the problem is, you use all your tear-offs and eventually you can't see, which usually means you have to toss your goggles. Well, that is the absolute last case scenario because even without goggles and not following, you still get so much sand, even off your own front tire, and you hear the crowd just getting pumped up again. There's Oscar Wiedemann, Ken Roczen's mechanic, saying, come on, showing the 2 different lap times. Roczen at the top and Tomac at the bottom. You saw Tomac's last lap time was in the 9s, whereas Roczen was in the 10s. So,
well, another factor to think about with Roczen as this moto goes on. He mentioned at the end of the first moto where he led and got passed by Tomac, his air forks, the suspension in his bike does not have a coil spring in it. It's controlled by air, and he said that the forks just got worse as the moto went on. It was harder and harder to hold on, so he's going to have to deal with that too. Now, his team manager Kyle Bentley told me before motos they did make some changes. We'll see if it pays off. Couple of big charges from Tomac, but Roczen has been able to respond each time.
Yeah, and maybe some of the changes they did make made a difference because in the first moto, it looked to me like it was only a matter of time before Tomac passed Roczen and moved on. But right now, Roczen looks like he's feeling it and he's keeping the hammer down. And I think Tomac is trying his absolute hardest just to try and keep in tow with Roczen. So let's see if any of these front 2 make any more mistakes. We saw Tomac make a mistake, lost a bit of ground, but closed it right back up. But Roczen, not one to crack under pressure. He knows how to control a race.
Both these guys, great background in sand riding. Roczen is from Germany, but there's a lot of sand tracks in Belgium and what's not in Europe where they do a lot of testing over in Europe as he grew up, so he definitely knows how to ride this stuff. Same thing with Christophe Pourcel, who's a Frenchman, but he was raised racing the Grand Prix circuit in Europe where they have a ton of sand as well. And then Justin Barcia, who's from this neck of the woods, is not shy of the sand also. So a great matchup between all these riders. This is for 3rd. Pourcel on that white Rockstar Husqvarna, and Barcia on the Monster Auto Trader Yamaha in blue. Barcia got to him pretty quick, but Pourcel hasn't let him get much closer than this.
Well, let's just hope for Pourcel's sake he doesn't, Barcia doesn't do the Musquin special on him.
Yeah, Musquin all the way back to 9th now after being knocked down. Barcia 4th, Nicoletti 5th, Pike 6th. That's the back-to-back-to-back, the Joe Gibbs Racing Yamahas. Benny Bloss 7th, Justin Brayton, Musquin, and Andrew Short rounding out your top 10. See that countdown clock on the upper right of the screen. That's the duration of the race. We run for 30 minutes, and then they pull out the 2-lap-to-go sign. And you hear some fans screaming Barcia's name as he closes in on Pourcel.
Barcia really giving everything he's got, but Pourcel so silky and smooth. Doesn't even look like he's trying that hard. Look at Barcia. He looks like he's absolutely riding the wheels of that bike. You look at Pourcel, just very methodical. He just goes about his way. Look, pops a wheelie there. Seat bounces that, squares up the corner. Just all the little things that he does. He avoids so much rough stuff by moving even 6 inches or a foot.
There's all kinds of little things that the teams even have to do to excel on a track like this, even to keep the bikes running, because sand is so difficult on these motorcycles. For more, we'll give you the Fram Tech Tip.
It's Isaiah Murph with Joe Gibbs Racing, and I'm Phil Nicoletti's mechanic, and it's your Fram Tech Tip of the week. Here at Southwick, we have problems with the bikes running hot because the track's deeper, it's rough, the sand's harder on the bike, so we change our radiators from the stock size to an oversized radiator with a cooling fan to get it to allow more coolant, and then the external cooling fan keeps the bike cooler. Does not overheat at the end of the moto, and that is your Fram Tech Tip of the week.
Yeah, absolutely, and overheating the bikes, a much bigger factor here in the deep sand than it is on some of the other tracks.
Well, they're lucky it's not 100 degrees like it often is up here. Actually, a relatively cool day. Yellow flags out, someone down in the dip. Both riders moving to the right-hand side. Now Tomac switches back to the left. He goes to the inside. Is he going to get the drive? Roczen knows he's there. He can hear him.
I don't know if there's room for Tomac to make it happen here, but he's certainly putting the heat on. Going to switch to the left again. Everywhere Roczen's going, Tomac is trying to go somewhere else to avoid that sand spray. And also, if Roczen makes a mistake, he'll have an opening.
This is where Tomac made it happen the first moto. Did Roczen learn? Yes, he goes to the inside. Takes that line away. Very, very smart riding from Ken Roczen on the 94. Tomac goes to the inside. The crowd are on their feet going crazy. They want this. They want this battle. The two best riders in motocross right now going at it. They have literally left the pack behind 22 plus seconds. These two in a league of their own right now. They're absolutely flying.
Next section is going to be a hard left-hand turn. They put another rider, Ronnie Stewart, a lap down. Tomac using it inside. Roczen using it outside. Tomac wants to go back to the inside in this one.
Look at the difference. Roczen, you can see his number, no problem. The 94 with the red background. That signifies that he is our points leader leading the championship. Tomac, we know he's number 3, but from the front, there's no number visible, which is why this is not a type of race where you'll sit behind someone and stalk them the whole race. Like, you want to get in front and try and put the hammer down and get out of there. As the lapper's going, oh, hang on, yeah, come on by. They're trying to stay out of the way, not sure which way to go.
I think those guys are exhausted. They're barely even able to stand up going through some of these sections, waving them by. You don't often see lappers doing that, especially not early into the race. Halfway through practically this one, we'll give you a top 5 rundown. Barsha has pulled the trigger on pass on Porcel while we were watching these two. Wow, Roczen really laid it over deep. Look at that corner. So Barsha 3rd, Porcel 4th, Pike 5th, Nicoletti 6th.
Watch this.
Oh, big run around the outside. Long way around for Tomac. He's got the drive, and he's going to be on the inside of the next corner.
Can Roczen square him up, though? Roczen's now trying to figure out where to go. He goes around the outside, but Tomac seals the deal, and the crowd are going crazy here in Southwick, Massachusetts.
So Tomac able to take the lead. He held the inside all the way around. I thought, like you did, that Roczen might try to square him up. Instead, Roczen has to try to figure out a different strategy. But unlike Moto 1, where once Tomac made the move, he dropped Roczen. Roczen looks like he wants to come back.
Roczen is not giving up. Whatever changes they made, he is feeling preppy, because look at this. He's got to go to the inside. Woo! Can you believe it? We are halfway through this moto. What does that mean, Jason?
Well, it means in 15 minutes, the moto will be over, and in 15 minutes, you can also save 15% or more on your insurance if you call Geico. If you want to call them, though, I'd advise you to keep your eyes on the TV screen, because this battle is great. Tomac now just trying to open it up. Woo! Feet off the pegs, he almost threw it away.
That could have got ugly, and that's the thing. Later in the motos, you come up to these jumps, the ruts and the bumps get so deep, it actually literally, the foot pegs drag, and it'll rip your feet off. And I promise you, once your feet get ripped off, it can turn ugly very quickly. We actually saw that earlier this morning in the consolation race. Matt Mcilrath on the Yoshimura Suzuki, unable to qualify. He was leading, got his feet ripped off right in the same section, did a big Superman, went down pretty hard.
All right, we're going to show you what this track looks like to a rider's perspective with the GoPro track preview. This is from earlier today as Tomac tries to hold Roczen off. We'll give you a couple of looks at it. This is from Moto 1. This is what a start looks like in motocross.
And now you see what it's like when you do not get that start.
Now there's that pileup that's going to file up on the inside. Luckily, Cole Martinez here on the CycleTrader.com. Rock River Yamaha gets away. Another look from Freddie Noren on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC machine. But here's the pileup right in front of him.
Barsha goes down.
Look out.
Boom.
Oh, Freddie's down. Tomac continues to lead Roczen. It's only by a half a second. So Tomac, this is a pivotal point in the race. This is where he absolutely blitzed Roczen in the first moto. Stretching it out a little bit, but it's not like it was in Moto 1. So Roczen hanging a little bit tougher. Amazing how quickly they're in the lap traffic as well. So that could play a factor now that Tomac is the leader.
Well, the other thing too is it's still raining and not very hard. And because it's sand, it's not going to get muddy. But as you can tell, the sand, when it's wet, it'll start sticking. So vision becomes a big issue, as well as the radiators getting clogged with sand. If the radiators don't get fresh air, you'll see these bikes start puking out some coolant, which is not a good thing.
Tomac's going to come past the Fran Mechanics area here. This is where his feet came off the pegs a lap ago. He shrugs that off. Roczen's not going anywhere. Just about a second is the gap between these two. So we could be in for a great battle down the stretch. Be a battle of wills at this point. As far as the points are concerned, Roczen has a pad to work with, but these guys just don't operate that way.
Not at all. Not at all.
Now, Roczen wants to win every race he's in, regardless of what the championship situation is. And more lap traffic for Tomac.
Yeah, Tomac, like you said, Roczen wants to win everything, but Eli Tomac probably feels like he's owed this, or he deserves this, or he's fought very long and hard to get back from injury last year, to get back to the top step of the outdoor podium. Oh, lap traffic.
Verizon IndyCar Series returns to NBCSN tomorrow with the Iowa Corn 300. Ryan Hunter-Reay is trying to win that race for the third straight year and also cut into the points lead of series leader Simon Pagenaud. Iowa Corn 300 tomorrow, 5 Eastern on NBCSN. That's the Legends and Heroes display, a traveling museum that goes to all these races. This is a unique part of Southwick. We actually have a... Whoa! Tomac has gone down just like that, and Ken Roczen has taken the lead. So Tomac's trying to come right back on him.
Same spot as he did it earlier. He's got the inside lappers in the way, and once again, Tomac to the inside takes the lead.
Roczen squares it up. Roczen's going to try to beat him to the exit. No. Now, Tomac had gotten slowed by a lap rider and then had a bobble, and that's what allowed Roczen to get it back, but only for a few corners. Tomac had a little something extra and was immediately able to respond.
Yeah, all we saw at the tail end was him going and then wiping his glove on his pant leg. So here's a replay of Tomac going down. This is that top corner, comes to the inside, and just tucks the front end. You see how shiny it is. You can see this. That's where I'm talking about the base. Gets up real quick. Now watch, he goes over this jump and gives himself a quick wipe. Get that sand off the hand, you know, for grip reasons.
And that is the corner where Tomac has really excelled. Made a lot of passes by being able to find traction on that inside, but it finally bit him. Once again, Roczen is not letting him get away.
I still can't believe Tomac picked up the bike, wiped his hand, and then literally grabbed a handful of throttle and immediately struck right back.
Yeah.
But like we're saying, it's still raining just a little bit out there. It's kind of on and off, but vision is becoming an issue for these guys. They both want the lead. Roczen can't get too close for too long because he'll run out of tear-offs or roll-offs, whatever he's running. Georgia, what do you got for us about vision?
Yes, there's not much separating them, but this is true. Eli Tomac is running the tear-offs right now. So all he does is grabs one of these, pulls it off, throws it away. But he only has 21 of these. Once they're gone, they are gone. Ken Roczen went with the roll-offs. Now the roll-offs are pretty much never-ending. He reaches across, pulls this little tab, and it clears his vision. Now sand can get stuck between the tear-offs on these Oakley goggles. However, the roll-offs are kind of a more safer bet, but vision's not quite as good. It'll be interesting to see how this affects those two guys, especially when they're swapping positions and catching each other's roost.
The disadvantage to the roll-off is that the top and bottom, you don't have as much vision.
Yeah.
Where the tear-off gives you the complete goggle clear, the roll-off is just a strip. So two different ways to do it for our leaders. We're back on board with Nicoletti's laying that bike over deep into the berms with our Fram Cam. Good ride for Filthy Phil out of New York. He is in 8th place right now. Just got passed by Marvin Muscan. And you can see the physical pounding that these riders take for over 35 minutes in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross.
Well, in recent sports studies, they've actually concluded that motocross riders are overall the most fittest athletes as far as strength, coordination, upper body, lower body, cardio, the whole nine. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Hey, you
It's
can do
tough.
this at a very elite level. You're allowed to brag about that a little bit. Nicoletti locked in a battle. He has, that's a lap rider down. He has Justin Brayton on VTOsports.com KTM right behind him. Nicoletti feet off the pegs. Not pretty late in this moto. You just got to try to hang on and bring it to the finish. That's what Eli Tomac is trying to do. He's got a 2-second gap over Roczen as you watch Nicoletti live on board. Oh. Here's Nicoletti.
Panic rev with the tear off.
At the same time, absolutely. Just came over that finish line there. Battle is on. Weston Pike on the move. So Barsha got around Porcel. Now Pike trying to do it as well. This would be the best moto finish of the season for Pike. Barsha, by the way, would also be 3rd overall today, which would be the season best for him. So it's turning out to be a very good day for the Joe Gibbs Racing Yamaha team. Oh, but Pike could not hold on that inside line, so Porcel holds him off.
Yeah, Pike taking a very inside line, their new line that's been developing throughout the moto. And we said it before, and I'll say it again, you cannot follow on this track for much because 1, the roost, and 2, obviously you can't pass and follow. So Pike really just trying to search for any piece of real estate just to try and make a lunge at Porcel. If he squares this corner up, okay, he's on the inside now. Does Porcel protect the inside? Yes, he does. Very smart, crafty Frenchman. He's not going to leave the door open.
And what a contrast in styles with these two. You have the Frenchman Porcel, we call him crafty for a reason. He's one of the smartest riders out there, always picking the smooth lines, a calculated way to do it. And then you have Pike, who just mashes the gas and powers through the stuff.
He moves the bumps.
That's right. I think they're afraid of him. He might be one of the few guys tougher than this track, and it works out about the same, as they're nearly identical on speed and almost identical in position on the track right now, battling for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Pike looking very racy at the moment. Porcel just doing what he does. Protective lines and trying to hold on, not giving up.
NASCAR is on NBC tonight, 7 Eastern from Kentucky. Qualifying was rained out, and they have a whole new surface, new pavement at that facility. So it is a massive guessing game for all the teams and drivers. That is going to be exciting tonight, 7 Eastern. Brad Keselowski leads chase grid with 3 wins. Got that one last week at Daytona, but watch out, Kyle Busch won the Xfinity race last night and won at this track last year.
Kyle Busch owns Kentucky, but how about Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the bubble there, close to the bubble. He needs to get a win to secure himself in this chase. Tony Stewart got that at the road course in Sonoma. It's going to be exciting, little chase.
Absolutely.
Great to see it on NBC as well now. Fantastic.
Very similar situation here. That new surface that the NASCAR folks will be dealing with in Kentucky, that's the same thing here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a new surface because we haven't been here in a while.
We haven't been here in 3 years, so all the teams really didn't have any data, anything to go by, and they were just guessing. We even saw this Joe Gibbs Racing team that, yes, obviously operates at very high end of the NASCAR side as well. They were doing pit stops and changing tires during practice, which we almost never see in motocross. Usually you just run one tire almost every track, but not here.
Well, some people might say, well, of course they got data. They've been coming here for years. Yeah, they took a couple of years off. The bike's changed so much over the years that the Yamaha is probably completely different to their ideas and setups and even potential suppliers, you know, whether it's pistons, cranks, clutches, whatever. Things change, so when they come back, it's like a clean slate for a lot of these guys. And then let's talk about Husqvarna. They don't really have any history here so to go off. They got a new bike. As we drop back, looking behind Porcel, how about Benny Bloss?
Yeah, this guy is a rookie pro. Now, normally you start in the 250 class for smaller bikes, but Bloss is 6'5", so he's on a 450 and mixing it up with the best in the business in 6th place. Georgia, what do you got?
Yes, actually, the 19 of Justin Bogle that I spoke about earlier and Benny Bloss tend to ride together throughout the week. Now, Benny has incredible speed, but he doesn't have a bunch of experience like some of the other guys. So for him, he tends to make small mistakes despite how fast he can go. It seems this weekend he has pulled everything together, and right now, having a good one.
A good one, I'd say a fantastic one right now. Benny Bloss, a non-factory rider, but getting good support from KTM, the BTO team. But I think his new nickname's got to be Baby Giraffe.
Really? Okay.
I think we've got to give him a new nickname.
I didn't know that. With 6'5", yeah, only a giraffe could that be a baby.
Yep.
As you see, Muscan, who has rebounded from being put down by Barsha earlier, got Bam Bam putting a lap rider down behind him now. He is in 7th on the Red Bull KTM. Bloss, by the way, might have a shot at catching Porcella, maybe even going for the top 5.
Wow, that'd be huge.
Next behind Muscan would be this man, Phil Nicoletti, and you can see some riders behind him. Justin Brayton trying to put pressure on Brock Tickle, who's on the podium in the last 2 races, top 3 overall, struggling a bit today. He is in 10th, but they are coming, and they're about to put some pressure on.
Yeah, you can see the little pack building up there, so lots of racing still to go, even though there's only 2.5 minutes, but plus 2 left, so let's figure they're going to probably get in 4 more laps.
3-rider fight to try to stay in the top 10. Nicoletti 8th, Brayton 9th, Tickle. He's got the yellow fenders.
Oh,
He's
that's
10th,
Tickle.
he's about to take it from Brayton.
Oh, he does it clean right there. Tickle, no contact whatsoever. Able to get on the binders and get to that inside line. Tickle finding some good lines. He looks like he's got a great pace and rhythm right now.
On the gas is Tickle. Can he make short work of Nicoletti like he did of Brayton to get into 8th place? Ahead of them is Muscan. Meanwhile, Tomac's lead 2.5 seconds over Roczen. That's not much. Remember, he already fell while leading earlier. No leader is safe on a track as unpredictable as this one. All right, so Tomac powering down. He's got to keep the gas on as Bogle has now gone into the Fram Mechanics area after getting the whole shot in this moto and having his best moto of the season in Moto 1. It's a tough break for the Oklahoma rider. Meanwhile, Roczen has cut it down to 1.7 seconds on Tomac. And Roczen continues to dig.
Reminds me of a heavyweight battle. Just punch, counter punch. These two just going at it, throwing everything they got. Because trust me, Tomac is not trying to control the pace, and Roczen is not just sitting back and waiting. They are going as fast as they can, and I think Roczen starting to maybe find a couple of those little lines. We saw his teammate use some little tricky lines, and I think Roczen has a slight advantage right now. Oh, you see Tomac hitting that big chuck hole down there. See how the whole body just shakes. Tomac's giving everything, but the luxury that Ken Roczen has right now is he can see, oh, as Tomac makes another little bobble, which is also a part to do with subconsciously he knows Roczen's there and he's trying everything, and he also now can see Roczen slightly closing. But I think Roczen has, he's in the luxury seat in the sense that he can see where Tomac is pulling and follow those lines, but also experiment with lines and figure out if he can gain somewhere. Tomac doesn't have that. All Tomac is doing right now is doing what he thinks is right, taking the right lines and just trying to hammer it, which Tomac does. He's not very creative as far as line selection, but he will just hammer the rough stuff as hard as anyone.
Two to go at the Red Bull Southwick National. The rider with the green fenders, that is Eli Tomac. He's your leader. But right behind him is Ken Roczen. A couple of mistakes on Tomac this last time around, and lap riders have slowed Tomac. Look at that, he had to hop over a berm, slowing him even more. He's got two slow riders in front. There is the second place rider, Ken Roczen, now right on his back fender.
Robbie Marshall, a local hero on the KTM 252 stroke, getting out of the way. Nice job there, Robbie. But this battle is raging on. Roczen wants this. This is for the overall. This is for pride. This is what both these guys want more than anything.
How rough was that section that Tomac just literally bounced his way through. And these are some of the most well set up, tested and tuned motocross bikes you'll find anywhere. But there's not a solution late in the game at Southwick. It's going to be all will at this point.
That is true. It's all about just the guts, the determination, and that willing to win. These two riders want it so bad. It's not about the money. It's not about the glam. It's not about the trophies. For these guys, when they put their heart and soul into this during the week, they focus on this. They imagine themselves winning. Now you come to the Wick. They haven't been here in a few years. They both want this so bad, and Roczen's not giving up. He is pushing, but Tomac just maybe with a few bike length lead, so he doesn't have to protect the inside. See right there, running the outside with a lot of momentum. That's kind of a Tomac style. Roczen's starting to move to some of those inside lines, trying to be creative, trying to make up this ground.
Downhill, which means the bumps are even bigger. Tomac standing up, feet on the pegs the whole time. His legs got to be aching at this point. And Roczen doing the same.
Oh, they're coming up to, they'll be getting the white flag. That means 1 lap to go. It's all going to come down this. At least for Tomac right now, he's got a slight gap. White flag is out. Lap traffic trying to stay out of the way. They could feel the leaders coming because of the crowd and the noise and everything. Listen to the crowd. Woo!
Now, you don't normally see the lap riders making it actually this easy on them, but I think you're seeing more fatigue
as well, yeah.
on this track than we do generally. So that's maybe aiding Tomac as well. But here is Roczen. He's got a pretty handy points lead in this championship. He doesn't care about points. He wants to win this race, and he's doing everything he can to get Tomac in the last lap.
Well, Roczen wants this as much as, well, anyone. But like I said, Tomac, I think, probably feels like he is owed this, he is due this. It has been over a year since he has won a Motocross National, dominated at the beginning of last year. Lap traffic doing a good job staying out of the way. Little mistake there from Tomac, but not even letting up the throttle. Roczen is as close as he's been pretty much in the last few laps. Oh, look at that. Even the suspension techs are getting crazy. They want this. Roczen's down right there.
Yeah, the suspension techs are no longer worried about looking at how the bike works. They're just cheering their guy on. It's the final lap here at the Red Bull Southwick National. When we left here in 2013, no one thought we'd be back. In fact, the track closed completely. Didn't even hold local races any longer. It's been revived. Some veterans who used to race here, guys like John Dowd, Keith Johnston, Mike Treadwell, they brought it back. Shout out to Mike Grondel, a businessman who said, I want to do this not for the money. Southwick needs to be part of motocross. Agreed. And what a great way to bring it back with a phenomenal battle. But who is going to win it? Will it be Eli Tomac? Will it be Ken Roczen?
Wow, I've got to say, under pressure, Tomac has just been phenomenal. He crashed there earlier. Well, tucked the front end, gets in that rut nice and clean. He's smooth. I think Roczen just made a mistake in the background. I think Tomac, he doesn't know he's got this in the bag right now, but he's pushing hard.
We're going to get through this section. This is where he's standing up through these bumps. Tomac out of Colorado, son of the mountain bike legend, John Tomac, who's at all the races with Eli. There's no doubt of their program, their fitness, the training is A+, and that's what you need on a track like this. Now Tomac's got a few more lap riders to get through. He does it! Eli Tomac wins the Red Bull Southwick National, his first win of the year. And Ken Roczen drove it home as hard as he could. First moto of the day. Didn't have anything for Tomac, but he's a proud athlete. He came back strong in Moto 2. It wasn't enough. Tomac is finally on the board with a victory in 2016. Second half of this championship is just starting. So that's big if you're Eli Tomac mentally. And a nice little shout out from Roczen to Tomac. These guys have battled a ton through the years.
Respect. Well, they battled here the last time we were here, but on 250s.
Right.
So how ironic on 450s once again.
But you never see anything but sportsmanship between the two of them. No dirty riding either. It was a straight up fight. And today, Tomac comes out on top. Seeing photos of many legends of motocross who have all turned laps at this famous sand track in Massachusetts, the Wick 338, and we've added another chapter to that history today. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay with our race winner.
Yes, the smile on Eli's face tells it all right now. Huge congratulations, taking your first overall this year. You even went down, but you got straight back up, managed to get back on the sand track. How was it?
That was like a race of or battle, you could call it, of a lifetime right there for us. Yeah, I don't know. Me and Kenny were going at it. Ended up buying him the first time, and then, as you guys probably saw, had to go inside in a left-hander up there. Ended up washing my front out and had to hop back on, and Kenny got by me again, and then did a little bit of a dive bomb pass at the end there. After that, it was just tooth and nail all the way through. But man, this is a huge relief for us. It's our first win of the season. Our first moto wins of the season, and it's a good start for Monster Energy Kawasaki. And I don't know, that was a good race.
Now it seems like, okay, it's halfway through the season, but for you, I bet you feel like this is where the season is starting for you. Do you have the confidence that you can carry this through to the end of the season? I mean, there are points, the championship, you have got a few points to catch up on, but do you see it in your sights?
Yeah, one thing you do is never give up. I mean, we're just over halfway now. There's quite a few races left, so it's never over till it's over, and we're gonna keep fighting.
Huge congratulations, Eli Tomac taking the overall today.
Fighting was the key today. You'll see it in our Lucas Oil race recap. Second time today, Justin Bogle on the 19 on the Geico Honda had a hole shot, quickly passed by Christophe Porcel, who knocks Bogle down. Bogle would eventually go into the Fram Mechanics area, not finish this race. As you can see, he was not happy about this. Porcel's lead didn't last long. Here comes Ken Roczen on the 94.
Wow, Roczen just gets a great drive around the outside, pulls a tail off, drives it in deep in that corner, takes the lead. But of course, Tomac just rails that outside. He was on a mission today, comes up the inside, takes the lead. But it wouldn't be smooth sailing for Tomac at the bottom of the screen, tucks the front end. That's one of those parts of the track that's a little deceiving because there's a hard base and the sand. You see Roczen gets him, but didn't last long either.
Tomac able to, as he says, dive bomb him here. Just gonna go full kamikaze into this corner as hard as he can and just beat Roczen to the exit. Now Roczen stayed close all the way to the end. It was about that close on the final lap, and then the track was at its roughest. These bikes were bouncing all over the place. That is 11th place in front of Tomac, who he nearly lapped. Lapping 29 riders out of 40, and they beat third place by 1 minute and 11 seconds. He and Roczen were just on fire in this moto. And those are the overall results, and that number all the way on the right, that's the points that they earned at the championship today. So Tomac makes up 6 on Roczen. He was down 53 before the day began. Let's send it back to Georgia.
Yes, as you guys were saying, points is the main thing of this season, Ken Roczen, and you still have that red plate in your hand. You said after the first moto you wanted to change up your suspension. What did you do to it, and did it feel a lot better?
Yeah, we did. We did something to the forks, and we just weren't clicking today. I feel like my bike wasn't good enough for these kind of conditions. But on top of that, Eli and then the Cowie team, they absolutely crushed it today. So I tried to put up a fight in the second moto and try to, get a win or at least hang with him, and that's what I've done. So I'm pretty happy with how we rebounded from that first one. But yeah, this is pretty much our only sand race we have. So going to Millville next week, and 2-2 is still a good result. So I'm not too bummed. I'm going to keep my head up and keep charging, that's for sure.
Now, this has been the first day that both motos you've really had to charge riding with Tomac. Now, did you feel like that takes more pressure? Like, is it more tiring having to battle the whole time?
No, not at all. It actually is good because you tend to keep even more focus. On top of that, this is a really tricky track. Like I said, there's some rocky areas and really hard base, and yeah. So we're gonna keep our head up and just keep charging. And I'm overall though happy with how it went today.
Well, he still has the red plate. Congratulations, 2-2 for Ken Roczen.
Red plate signifies he is the points leader as we go forward. And see the point standings here. As you mentioned, Tomac closing into 47. Battle brewing for third now between Marvin Musquin and Justin Barcia. Today, Barcia knocks Musquin down. He also edges him for third overall. Musquin finished fourth. Barcia made up 1 point today. So get a little bit closer. Send it back to Georgia.
Justin Barcia taking third overall today. Now, Justin, things last week, you said you weren't feeling too happy, didn't feel comfortable, but it seems like you've really changed things around and you look pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, I wish I could have fixed myself on the start of the first moto. I used a lot of energy that first moto. It was tough, but the whole Auto Trader, Monster, and Yamaha team did a great job today. They got the bike working a lot better. I'm very happy with the progress that we made. We're going to go home, work a little harder, and just keep fighting. That's all we can really do is fight, and try to get back up here more and more.
Now, they call you Bam Bam Barcia. There was a bit of a Bam Bam move there with Marvin Musquin. However, it's racing. How did you take it?
Well, I don't think we ever hit. I don't know. I never felt us hit. I know I brake checked him up in the corner, kind of stood him up like Supercross, and then went on my way. So I never felt our bikes hit. You know, I like aggressive racing, but dirty's another thing. Hopefully it wasn't too dirty.
All right, well, huge congratulations. Third overall for
Here's your Lucas Oil upcoming schedule. We're going to Minnesota next weekend. That's Spring Creek in Millville. MAP TV will have your coverage of the first motos live. We'll have a second moto on NBCSN of the 450s, and a few hours later come back for our second moto of the 250s. You can also catch it on the NBC Sports Live Extra app as well. And that's a pretty fun track as well. Has some sand in it, some big sand rollers. Wow, I can't believe these guys have the energy left to lift these big trophies.
They are pretty big, and they're heavy because they're solid wood, but beautiful trophies. When you actually see them up in person, gorgeous.
Well, these guys earned it the hard way. One of the roughest tracks of the year. Oh, that's a hand twisting the throttle. You can see the grip right there in the center of the fist. Well, that's exactly what we had late in this moto between Tomac and Roczen.
Exactly.
Tomac, who dominated early in 2015, went out of the championship when he crashed while leading, had to have both shoulders surgically repaired. It has taken over a year for him to get back to victory lane in motocross. Did get a victory in Supercross earlier this year at Daytona. Could this signal a bit of a turnaround in the second half of the year? Can Roczen rebound? Hey, these fans of Southwick, they don't care about next week. They're all about the here and the now. Southwick's back.
The hardest part for Tomac is popping the champagne. He can't get the cork off. He's probably got arm pump. Twist the grip.
Yeah, you figure he's got that one part down. Look, about to unleash it on him. All right, so a hard-earned victory for Eli Tomac. Congratulations to him. So good to have the WIC 338 back on the schedule.
Through grit and courage, Yamaha's Cooper Webb has raced himself into the points lead.
Most people theorized that he would have a tough time even making it to the end of the series because he entered the season with a broken wrist, and now that that wrist is healed up, he has gone next level.
Kawasaki star Joey Tsubaki has been dominant at times.
Joey Tsubaki wins at High Point.
But inconsistency has dimmed his title hopes.
Tsubaki is down and down hard. Oh, this is a dramatic shakeup in the championship.
Over jumps a little bit and then watch the bike. Swaps it. Boom!
The 250 championship moves on to its toughest test yet. Round 7 from the WIC is moments away.
We are back in more ways than one. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, the Red Bull Southwick National. It's been since 2013 since we've raced really almost any motocross at all. This famous sand track. So great to be back. Jason Wygant, multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay on hand here. We are in the 250 class. We did complete their first moto earlier today. We'll show you the highlights of that one. Hole shot for the number 1, Jeremy Martin, your defending series champion. Shane Mcilrath goes around him on the outside at number 30 to take over the lead. That would just be the beginning. Lots of action as always in this 250 division. The young kids always fighting for it. And here's your battle for the lead. Martin got actually passed by the third place rider, Aaron Plessinger, gets back to second and now goes for the number 1 spot.
Yeah, very aggressive move, clean but aggressive. Jeremy Martin just pushes his way through because he knew Plessinger was coming. He had to get a move on.
Then late in the race, Cooper Webb, who was 9th, starts cutting through traffic. Here he is taking second away from Arno Tonis, who admitted he got pretty tired down the stretch. He even made a late run at Jeremy Martin, but Martin was able to hang on and take the moto victory. Third moto victory of the season for Martin. Look how close Webb was there at the end. So a rematch coming in the second moto here, and we will combine the results of this race with the race coming up to determine our overall winner. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay at the GoPro starting gate.
Now taking that first moto win, Jeremy Martin, must feel good. Gives you some confidence going into Southwick. Do you think the track has changed too much since the first moto?
Yeah, it's definitely changed since Moto 1. So we made some changes to the bike, so hopefully it handles better. But it's going to be, this is the gnarliest the track's going to be. The 450 guys are already done, so it's go time for us now.
Best of luck. Thank you, Jeremy.
As this season enters its second half, the The time has come for the championship contenders to make their move.
2 straight overalls and the points lead for Cooper Webb. Joey Tsubaki wins the overall. Jeremy Martin looking to win the second moto here at Glen Helen.
Martin still wants this. Osborne, he's going to try and push.
The 250 title contenders are heading to the starting gate for Moto 2. The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Red Bulletin, experience the men's active lifestyle magazine. And by Kawasaki, the Kawasaki KX, the bike that builds champions.
Some photos, memories of Southwick years gone by, and we have returned to what they now call the WIC 338. Let's give you a tour of the place with the Kawasaki track map. Grant?
Well, this track is rough, but it's a great one. Point of view here, drop that gate. Here we go at Southwick into a right-hander. They used to actually make that sharp left, so the track going the other direction, past the Fran Mechanics area. Everyone hoping to have the whole shot over what used to be the finish line. The Lucas Oil jump there. Then this is the part of the track from right about here that's different. They go turn and go down the hill, make it basically a horseshoe, come back and reconnect, go into the back part of the track, long sweeping left into another long right. This track has a very cool, unique flow to it. It's got a lot of sweeping turns that either tighten up or open up. This gets a little bit tighter, so more of a 180 into a 180. Great passing opportunity here. This was the original finish line, but now the Lucas Oil Tabletop. Then you come into these tight sections, slowest part of the track, right, left. Long sweeping right-hander, little off-camber, very choppy. This is where we saw Tomac absolutely blitz that berm on the outside to get up the inside into this corner on Roxon. Here we've seen guys really switching it up. A lot of contact in the corner as well, and a lot of opportunity to make time, lose time. Down Henry Highway, over the Western Power Sports Fly Racing jump. This long left-hander seems to never end. It's a little off-camber, very choppy. Over the Red Bull jump, make a right-hander, and this is now the new finish line jump. Here at Southwick, one more sweeping left-hander before it comes back and joins in the start straight. And that's a lap here at Southwick, Massachusetts.
Great feature we have in addition to the television coverage you're watching right now. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is Red Bull's MX Nation Series, where we get inside the lives and the minds of some of the top riders in the 250 class, including this man, Shane Mcilrath. And you can watch MX Nation every week on Red Bull TV. Great coverage there. Mcilrath led a bunch of laps in the first moto. Second moto is coming very close, less than 2 minutes. Let's give you our Lit Pro race insight. Some knowledge that we learned from the first moto.
Yeah, first moto we're looking at Arno Tonus and Austin Faulkner, their fastest laps. Tonus is a 2:12.4, Faulkner was a 2:13.5. But nearly all of that gap occurred in this section that we talked about that's new, this little horseshoe. If you look, Tonus stays tight, carries more speed around the sweeping left and then tight on the right-hander and pulls about 0.8 of a second. If we take the side-by-side zoom, if you look, Tonus entered the corner at 29 miles an hour versus Faulkner at 23. That's a 20% difference in entry speed. But Tonus pulls Faulkner in this one corner by 0.7, so basically 0.8 on a whole track, 0.7 in one corner. Let's go to the KTM keys to the motor. We're here at Southwick, so what do we have? We have sand. You better be prepared and adjusted for it, and of course, fitness. Second moto, it's the last moto of the day. Everyone's tired showing up to the line. The fittest will survive, and of course, adjustments. Who made adjustments? We've seen in the 450, Roxon talked about making adjustments between moto. Did guys change tires? Did they make any adjustment to the suspension, the engine, whatever, themselves?
See the 42 of Mitchell Oldenburg. We've got the live onboard GoPro helping us out here, and we'll be able to watch what he goes through during the moto, and same thing with Mcilrath here on the 30. So a pair of onboards on these riders, and it was pretty cool. We got to see Mcilrath lead, and we even saw Jeremy Martin get into the picture in the first moto when he passed him for the lead. Yeah. Fly Racing 30-second card is sideways. Get out of there, Nicole. Let's go racing.
Drag race to first turn, and it's going to be Cooper Webb, the 17 points leader. He wants this real bad. Great start for the Webb.
Martin Davalos is second, and Mcilrath, another good start, coming through in second. but you don't often see whole shots out of Webb. This could be a game changer. He had to come from way back in the first moto to get second, but now he's leading right off the rip.
And yep, that's Tsubaki there in that what was top 5, about 6th right now. So he's near the front. Can he show us the pace? He seemed like he lacked a little pace in that first moto. Mcilrath had good pace at the beginning. Not sure if he got tired or maybe a little arm pump, but kind of really faded at the end. But Jason, we've talked about that. Leading is one thing. It's so easy to absolutely tighten up and, you know, let's, for lack of a better term, blow it, you know, because from 1st to 13th, Mcilrath better than that. Probably just got a little tight.
Yeah, I talked to his mechanic after the moto. He said arm pump, absolutely, and he was not happy about it. Shane wasn't happy about it after losing the lead.
Neither was the mechanic.
I'm sure there wasn't anyone over there. That Short League KTM team was pumped. Mcilrath going from 1st to 13th, so now he's trying to get first again. But look out, in 3rd at 2:14 of Austin Faulkner. This is live on board with Mcilrath in 2nd place. Faulkner on the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki Green Machine in 3rd, putting heat on. And of course, it's Webb on a Yamaluka Star Racing Yamaha in the lead.
Yeah, great to see from the outside what it looks like, but then actually to look and see what the riders deal with. Right now, pretty clear vision for Mcilrath. Don't take a look over your shoulder because there's 38 guys that are coming for you. See all the team personnel cheering on their different riders.
You can look over at them. Yeah, take the encouragement. Davalos on the white Rockstar Energy Husqvarna comes through next, number 49.
Martin, kid with a lot of talent. I say kid, he's been around a long time. From Ecuador, correct? And I always get confused between some of the South American countries, but from Ecuador, local hero. Martin had some success in Supercross. The outdoors so far, after chatting with the team and that, they said, man, Martin's got the pace, but his starts have just been diabolical.
Oh, Oldenburg is out, so we're going to lose that on board. Or he's actually getting back into it, it looks like. He's off of the racetrack, but not out of the race. Electric start, gets him going on the KTM. And now you're starting to see Jeremy Martin, your first moto winner, get into this battle on the number 1, the blue bike. So he is right behind Davalos right now. So it's a role reversal of Moto 1. Cooper Webb had to come from behind in that one. Now Martin is going to have to come back in this one. Although it's a little bit different because Webb, even though he's leading, he always seems to ride better in the second half of the races. So this could be an opportunity for someone to try to get the lead from him, at least early.
Exactly, exactly. So for Jeremy Martin, you've got to get on the rear wheel of Cooper Webb. Let's call it by the halfway point at our Geico moment.
Yeah.
You need to be there because you know Cooper's going to pick it up. Oh, look at this. Faulkner with a great drive. Almost ran up the back of Mcilrath. Just, wow, Faulkner got a huge drive. Now he's going to switch to the inside. Is he close enough to run it in there? I think he is. Yes, Faulkner up the inside, getting impatient. Mcilrath, you see the roost coming up in his face. He's back on the grind.
All right, so he is 3rd now. Faulkner, who is fastest in qualifying today. Great job by the rookie. First day he has ever been at this track ever. First day he's obviously raced it then as well. And he was fastest in qualifying. Solid performance in the first moto. He was inside the top 10. Now, 2nd in this one. And they still have Webb in their sights, at least early. Jeremy Martin, though, has made the move on Davalos.
Wouldn't it be a bit of a mind blower if Faulkner actually got around Cooper Webb for the lead?
Hey, they battled hard for a lap last week at Redbud. Faulkner has definitely shown us this as a rookie. He is not intimidated by anybody. Not. He will battle.
He is a very almost seasoned rookie. I think nowadays a lot of these kids, they get guidance. I know Faulkner is pretty tight with JH and the Carmichael family, and I actually had the chance to coach him at one of the RCU events, and Faulkner blew my mind on the Super Mini when we were at Redbud. I was just like, oh my goodness. He's like, what can I do better? I'm like, man, I really got a nitpick right now. So, hey, Georgia, what do you got for us?
Oh, it's funny. I've known Austin Faulkner for many, many, many years when he was way shorter than me. And back when he was about 7, 8 years old, Jimmy Albertson actually trained him, and I went to the school with him, and we worked stuff together. And from the moment he got on the dirt bike, we knew he was going to be fast, and that's for sure. But he's going through that growth spurt right now. And at 17 years old, he sure is mature.
And the 17-year-old is challenging the number 17. He has caught Cooper Webb and is trying to take the lead.
Wow, this kid is really impressive. I've said it, you heard me say before the season, Jason, I think he did the right thing. He's listened to a lot of advice. I mean, like I said, it blew my mind when he came to me.
Here he goes, squeezing outside. Webb's not going to make it that easy on him.
He goes, how can I be better? And you're looking at a kid with this much talent going, you almost feel like scratching your head and going, I'm not sure, but if I've got to be really, really, really nitpicky, I'll find one or two little things. But he soaks up the information. He loves this. And right now, he's got to be on an adrenaline rush. He's going after the points leader. This isn't supposed to happen where rookies come in and then go and take on the guy who's basically the guy right now, Cooper Webb.
And what I'm really impressed is sometimes we've seen rookies come in absolutely on fire the first race or two. Faulkner didn't race Supercross this year. He's been preparing for the motocross season while these other guys were doing Supercross. Faulkner has actually gotten a little bit better every week.
Well, I think that there's some truth to, if you're a rookie, maybe skip Supercross because usually you get hurt. I know it's a tough situation because contracts are the whole year, so typically everyone has to go and race both. But I think between the Faulkners and Mitch Payton and that whole crew, I think they made a wise decision bringing him in healthy, fresh, and very green. And then I feel like, very green.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's very green indeed.
But it's been perfect in the sense of how to build a champion because he's been building, getting 1-2% better each and every weekend at Moto, and every time you watch him now, it's like, wow, this guy is flying.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we did say that sometimes Webb isn't at his best early in the motos, but he's not going slow because they have pulled away from third place Mcilrath, who's dealing with Martin. So Webb is on the gas right now. He's not waiting around for the second half of this race. He's trying to get away, but Faulkner's just riding very, very well, and they've got 3.5 seconds over everybody else. There you see Mcilrath, there you see Martin. So pivotal part of this moto. Hey, back on Mitch Oldenburg, where he had his problems, sort of like live on board, trying to pick himself back up and come through the traffic. Faulkner keeping Webb honest up front. Back at the Red Bull Southwick National Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Cooper Webb on the 17 in the lead. Austin Faulkner in second. Now, a lap ago, Faulkner took a shot at Webb to try to take the lead in that corner. Just couldn't quite make it happen. So Webb able to extend it just a little bit now. But we're only 8 minutes into a 30-minute and 2-lap moto. Shane Mcilrath and Jeremy Martin close back up a bit, third and fourth.
Yeah, we saw it the first moto. We called it the Wolfpack, but it looks like we might get a little bit of a similar scenario. The battles here are raging. No one really getting away. I think Webb's probably in the best position trying to stretch it out. But like you said, Faulkner was all over him a lap ago. And now our Moto 1 winner, Jeremy Martin, he's probably thinking overall as well as, I mean, he wants the overall. You know, we talked about in the 450s how badly Tomac needed that. You kind of feel the same way about Jeremy Martin. I mean, the guy's won back-to-back titles. He's running the #1 plate, and he has yet to win this year. Won a moto, but not an overall.
Yeah, got a moto win earlier today, but if Webb wins this moto with that second in Moto 1, Webb has the overall. So Martin's got to dig really deep. He's going to have to pass everyone in front of him. Mcilrath, Faulkner, and Webb to do it. And now Webb has responded to the challenge of Faulkner and extended it to about a 2.5 second lead. Look at Webb down to the inside, trying to find room.
Yeah, to the mechanics. They're getting their riders pumped up. They're excited. But Jeremy Martin now right on the back of Shane Mcilrath. Martin looked at first moto.
He's on board of Mcilrath. This is where Martin, was that where Martin got him in that first moto?
Yeah. Yep. With a pretty aggressive pass. Aggressive, but very clean. I always like to say, when I say aggressive, I mean like textbook, that's how you're supposed to pass. You make a gap. You have the inside, you put your wheel in there, you make your gap.
He's trying to make it right now, but Mcilrath, while dealing with Martin, has closed on Faulkner. Man, this track is so much rougher than what we saw in the first moto there. It looks like they're tiptoeing gingerly through some of these sections now.
Well, this comes down to fitness and technique as well, because good sand riders know how to ride and how to make it work. And the problem is, you can be the fittest guy in the world. I promise you, if you ride without a sand technique or not the setup, you will absolutely blow your arms out and your whole body and be physically worn out 2 laps.
Cooper Webb continues to lead. The Red Bull Southwick National had a challenge from Austin Forkner for about 2 laps, but Webb has responded. It was basically a 0-second gap. Then it was a 2.5-second gap. Now it's a 3.9-second gap. And that's what we said. You're going to have to attack Cooper Webb early in these motos, because the second half of the races, he has been unbelievable as of late. So Forkner went for it, couldn't quite make the pass. He's still riding well here, the 17-year-old in second. But here comes Mcilrath, and here comes Jeremy Martin, and Forkner knows it.
Yeah, he can hear them, he can see them, he looked over, he even knows who it is right now. So for Forkner, he's rode a great race. And it's nothing challenging these youngsters, but a lot of times for these kids, because they haven't quite matured into men, it's really hard to be consistently strong and fit and you know, basically like a man. Forkner, one of the smaller kids, kind of petite, but fantastic phenom. You see Mcilrath grabs that tear off there, found some smooth real estate, took his hand off. Because usually they do it on jump, but when you need to, you need to. You know what I mean? And
the one thing this track really doesn't have, it doesn't have a lot of huge air time to grab those tear-offs.
Absolutely.
I know you're saying on Forkner, it's like Jeff Stanton, 6-time champ, used to always say it's boy strength versus man strength sometimes on a track like this. And Martin, Mcilrath a little bit older, and they've been through these battles before. You don't run 30-minute motos until you're pro, so that's all pretty new for Forkner. But as quickly as Mcilrath got there, Forkner able to hold him back, and now Mcilrath's got trouble. Here comes Jeremy Martin.
And he looks like he's impatient right now. He goes to the inside, gets a good drive. I think he's going to seal the deal. Oh, can he? There, he's got the inside for this next turn. Jeremy Martin puts it into 3rd place. Now, oh, did he? Oh, wow, look at that line. The inside from Mcilrath. I'm telling you, some of these inside lines really starting to work. It's becoming that combination of, do you just carry all the momentum around the outside, or do you just hug and be very patient on that little, we talked about it, there's a little base, so you get those little inside ruts now that all the dirt's pushed off to the side, or the outside.
Man, Martin worked so hard to make that pass, and then Mcilrath just said, whoop, and went right back in front of him. Back on board Mcilrath.
Not so fast, buddy.
Yeah, so Martin has to go back to while Webb is leading, and that's the guy Martin really wants to try to catch for today's overall win, and he also needs it for points. Joey Tsubaki, a better moto this time around. He's in 5th, but that still means he's going to lose a lot of ground to Webb today if it ends like this. Certainly a long way to go, especially on this track. Looks like Mcilrath is ready to do some more battling with Forkner for 2nd. Here he is, down to the inside. No room there.
Mcilrath, he's pushing real hard right now, so Forkner got by. Looked like he was really going after Webb. Webb said, I don't think so. He put the hammer down. He's been clicking off really good lap times. In fact, the last lap was almost identical to his fastest lap of the race. So Webb running a great pace for the first half of this moto. Forkner still riding a good pace. But Mcilrath just found a little something here. Apparently he doesn't have arm pump right now.
No, a little bit better than Moto 1. And in still some of the longer sections of the track, you can see Cooper Webb up ahead. So it's not over for any of these guys.
Yeah.
One thing we know about the 250 class, there's no giving up here, that's for sure. These guys will race into the end. Webb did win last week at Redbud, but he had a battle on his hands with Alex Martin and Zach Osborne. Right now, your top 10 is Webb, Forkner, Mcilrath, Jeremy Martin, Tsubaki 5th, Tone at 6th, Alex Martin, Osborne, Plessiger, Davalos round out the top 10. Osborne and Alex Martin seem to find each other in every race. And these two found each other again. Jeremy is trying to get around Shane Mcilrath again. It's the section where he had him the last time. He's not quite as close now.
Yeah, not able to make it happen. I wonder, yeah, see, now he's using that inside, and then Mcilrath went to the outside. Quite ironic. Roll reversal for Martin. Down goes Martin. Tucks the front end. And Martin, once again, just doesn't seem
like
rush.
last week. Yeah, he's not in a rush. Now he's in a tough
I know
spot.
he's short and he's worried about getting hit by other guys, but at this point, you just got to get up and get going.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. And we are halfway in this moto now. 15 minutes, this one will be over. 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more in your insurance. Oh, so frustrating for Jeremy Martin. That's 2 weeks in a row in the second moto. That little tip over cost him huge. His pack in the 250 class is generally very close. So if you have a crash, even halfway to the moto, they're close enough.
Spots, yeah.
I think that was Hampshire on the Geico Honda that just got by him. So that pushes Martin to 12th place. Your first moto winner.
And that's what's crazy in this class. Think about that. 112. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there's so much depth. Here's our replay. Watch this. Up the inside. Jeremy Martin goes there. Now he's going to go and funnel in behind Mcilrath. Now watch the upper right hand. And just basically lack of vision, I think. Didn't see the exit of that rut. Threw it down. See Mcilrath sand surfing in slow-mo. That looks really cool. But
I'm going to show you what it's like on board with these guys. It's our GoPro track preview. This is Mcilrath off the start in Moto 1. Yeah, we have a camera pointing out the front as well.
Oh, that's what a beautiful, good start looks like. Look at that. Nothing but clean real estate ahead of you. And then Cooper Webb comes, but he doesn't surrender it.
That's Moto 1. That's Martin making the move. But yeah, you won't see Martin for long because Mcilrath here in the first moto was able to get by him and lead a bunch of laps. Then he went backwards. This time, not quite this good a start, but he's actually staying up there longer. It's kind of the mental game of motocross sometimes. But it's a physical challenge on this track as well. Cooper Webb doing what he normally does. Second half of the race, finds another gear. 6.3 seconds is the gap over the young Austin Forkner, who's hanging on for second. And it's going to be a lot easier on Forkner and Mcilrath now. They no longer have your 250 national champ to deal with as Jeremy Martin has gone down. Benefactor is Joey Tsubaki, who goes from 5th to 4th. But Tsubaki needs more than that. This could be 3 straight overall victories for Cooper Webb and an even bigger points lead.
Yeah, and we said it at the start of the season. If Webb could be healthy, he was the guy that we said could and probably had a legitimate, like, real good chance of going and beating Jeremy Martin. I think we both discussed that, and I said I think Webb can. Came in with a broken wrist, so all of a sudden we're like, is he even going to, you know, be here at round 7 in Southwick? You know, that's what we were questioning. And then he, like you said, for him, a little bit of a slow start, but not bad at all. Actually, good, solid points. And then right now, finding his stride, just clicking off the laps, starting to lead a lot, getting better starts, pulling away in the points, looking like someone that's gonna, you know, well, I shouldn't say he's gonna, but someone that's got one focus, and that's a title.
And last time around, Forkner matched him. Oh, we got a battle on our hands. Tsubaki and Tonis. Tsubaki and Tonis. So Tsubaki was ahead. Tonis has actually made a move on him. You know, Tsubaki said, when I talked to him briefly this morning, that he doesn't have any ill effects from that crash last week, but it has not been the same, Tsubaki. So I have to wonder, I mean, he looks cut and torn, as I used to say right now. Looks pretty rough on Tsubaki right now, but he took a huge hit 7 days ago at Redbud. Well, tough to power through these motos now.
The folks at Lit Pro were able to show us how gnarly it was. When he crashed and got slammed in the ground, it pulled 14 Gs. Fighter pilots pull about 8. So he literally was slammed to the ground. Look at this, Osborne saying, I want a piece of this action. Osborne, another one of these guys that's been kind of slowly getting better and better each week.
Back at Southwick, big changes here. Arno Tonis, 66, has passed his teammate, Joey Tsubaki, pushing Tsubaki back to 5th. Tsubaki had gotten to 4th momentarily when Jeremy Martin went down to that corner. And it could get worse for Tsubaki because here comes a cavalry. You got Zach Osborne, and if you see Zach Osborne, you know that there'll be Alex Martin nearby. Alex Martin's right behind him. Here's your overall. Tonis looking for an overall podium today. Forkner as well. And Jeremy Martin will go from a first moto win to 4th overall if it ends like this. But See how tight this pack is. A lot of passes could potentially still happen. The one thing we do know, it appears that Cooper Webb is in position for an overall if he can hang on for the final 10 minutes of this.
And that would make it 3 straight, correct?
Yeah.
So just really turning it on. A little slow start to the season up inch off. Alex Martin going after Zach Osborne. Like you said, Jason, these two just find each other all the time on the track.
I sent it to Georgia in the Fram Mechanics area. Go ahead.
Yes, now we're talking about the tires that they're using for here at Southwick. Now we've got the 2 tires here. This is a regular tire that the guys most of the time tend to run. This one is the directional scoop/sand tire. Now, as you can see, this stops the mud or the sand getting stuck in between all the knobbies, and this pushes out the mud, allows them to get more traction in the sand. This is what the majority of guys are running, which is the MX-11, and this is what Cooper Webb has right now, and he didn't make any changes to his bike between the 2 motos.
Thanks, Georgia. Yeah, why would he? Didn't win that moto, but it was a strong charge from the back. They picked up where he left off, got the lead early in this one. Now, the rider that is second behind Webb in points is the 37 of Joey Tsubaki, who told me earlier today that no injuries from last week's crash at Redbud, just anger. But I don't know. It has not been quite the same Tsubaki we saw early in the season, and that was a wallop of a hit that he took. So this is such a rough track. I'll give the guy the excuse even if he doesn't want to take it. Maybe he is 100%, but he's got trouble right now because here comes Zach Osborne.
Osborne trying to make it work, but he's on the outside. He squares it up. I just think Tsubakhi's not as comfortable in the sand as other places, but he's fighting for every position, not rolling over. Osborne probably getting a little frustrated. Osborne definitely with more pace. He's going everywhere that Tsubaki isn't. But the problem is they keep meeting up like that.
Oh! And he goes down in the same spot Martin did. And Plessinger gets by him. Alex Martin gets by him. Jeremy Martin, I think, will be going by as well. That might help Jeremy. There he is. Jeremy will pick up a point for that pass. Oh, there was just nowhere to go on the outside of the line. There's nothing to grab the front wheel. So twice we've seen that claim somebody in that corner. Both times that helped Tsubaki out. RJ Hampshire is coming through next. He'll be right behind Osborne.
Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate for Osborne right there. You know, trying everything and anything, and then ended up basically just getting caught up on the rear wheel and, you know, tipped over.
See Jeremy Martin just up ahead of this. RJ Hampshire and the Geico Honda actually did his sand prep with Ken Roxon coming into this race. That's a heck of a dangling carrot to try to chase down during the week.
It's a great training partner.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's a great training facility. It's actually a track that you built.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Yeah. All right, here's Jeremy Martin going down. That was a huge shakeup in today's results, potentially in the championship standings as well. Same section, claims Zach Osborne. So some drama in that battle within the top 5, but no such drama up front. Cooper Webb is looking to win a second moto for the 3rd straight week, which will also give him the overall win for the 3rd straight week. And he's going to make up massive points potentially on Tsubaki today. If it ends like this, he will make up 20 points on Tsubaki in one day, 11-point lead coming in. So he will more than double it, or basically double it. And he was down 12 points after Muddy Creek. So a huge swing in the championship. Two things are happening at once. Webb is getting healthy and winning races, and everybody else is making mistakes at the same time.
Well, that's what championships are all about. Firing on all cylinders, doing everything right, not making mistakes, not being injured, hopefully no mechanicals. You need a little luck sometimes, but I also believe the harder you train, the luckier you get. And I think Cooper Webb right now is a product of that environment.
Yeah, some big sand motos that he and crew, several of his teammates, the Yamaluke Star Racing Yamaha down at the Club MX facility in South Carolina. They've logged some big-time motos down there and a really, really nasty sand track they have at that track. So it's paid off. We didn't really know where a lot of these riders stood with sand riding because we haven't had Southwick on the schedule the last couple of years. Webb rode here once, Jeremy Martin rode here once, and their results are okay, but there's a lot different position in their careers. at that time. Now they're premier riders in this class, and Webb is showing he definitely knows his way around this place.
Yeah, looking pretty good right now. Just biggest thing for him is obviously negotiating the lap traffic. He's got over a 13-second lead, almost 14 seconds. So no need to panic at this late stage of the race. Just be smart. It's more about the mental game right now. Don't make any mistakes, because it's very easy on a track like this.
Lap riders are going to be something that Webb will have to contend with now. Austin Forkner doing a great job in second. Had major pressure from Shane Mcilrath, but now it's stretched it to about 3 seconds on him. So Forkner, he can just ride at home, race his own races, they say. Could be looking for a second. Cooper Webb continues to lead this Red Bull Southwick National. First half of the race, guys were all over him. Austin Forkner took a shot at it, almost got the lead from him. Second half, though, these races have belonged to Webb as of late. He's pulled away. If you look at the overall, Austin Forkner looking at an overall podium with the second place in this moto, and Arno Tonis could be on the podium as well. That'd be the first ever overall podium for Tonis in the U.S. So a great day in some ways for the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. That's Forkner. Okay, he's lost a lot of time to Webb now, but still second place on this rough track. First time he's ever been here. Still a great performance for the 17-year-old out of Missouri. Got to be proud of that. And Forkner had a shot at the podium early in the year at Glen Helen. Had a crash at second moto when he was running second, cost him. Avenging that today. Mcilrath, much better second moto than the first, where he went from first to 13th. Got pumped up tight, leading the race. Haven't seen that. They are pumped this time. Hanging on for third for a while. Looked like he might be able to make the pass on Forkner, but he's really going to have to dig for it if he wants to make it happen. And this guy is the master digger right now. No one digs deeper late in these races than Cooper Webb, who's trying to win the overall for the third straight weekend.
Cooper Webb still continuing to just click off the laps. Great lead. He's got 15 seconds it is right now. Not taking anything away from Austin Forkner. This is a fantastic motor he's got going. Hopefully he can hold on. I know he's somewhat comfortably in second, but you know how it is. We've talked about it. Mcilrath's only 3 seconds behind, so one mistake or a tip over, all changes. As we see Jeremy Martin still trying to get up through the pack since going down 9th place.
Trying to figure out the overall situation here. Late in the day here at the Wick 338. We're watching Jeremy Martin because he's mounted a bit of a comeback and has an outside shot at getting on the podium overall. He sees 1 point behind Arno Tonis in the day's standings. So he's got to make 2 passes because Tonis holds the tiebreaker. Better second moto. That's the bad news. The good news for Martin is that the 2 riders he needs to get aren't too far ahead. He's got his teammate, Aaron Plessinger. Actually, he's already gotten Davalos, but this is halfway. They haven't gotten to our timing and scoring. So that should put him even closer to Tonis. Just needs to get a teammate. Aaron Plessinger is right in front of him, and that might give him an overall podium for the day and bump Tonis off of it. It'd be a good salvage job for Jeremy Martin to get on the podium. However, he has to think, oh man, maybe I had a shot at the overall today. Won the first moto and was in the hunt early until he went down. But that was the first half of the race. We know what Cooper Webb can usually do late. Martin right now, any chance of the overall win's gone. He's just trying to make up every position he can. Probably has no idea if this affects the podium. He's just a fighter and he's not going to give up.
Well, I'm sure he has an idea, because if you look at the points tally right now, Webb would win the overall with a 2-1, 47 points. Look at the up the inside. Martin tries to look at Plessinger. Plessinger not rolling over. But for second place, we got Faulkner, Tonus, and Martin. Jeremy in our screen. He's tied for second, but he'll miss the podium because of the second moto result. So if he gets Aaron Plessinger, he goes from basically 4th overall to 2nd. Huge difference.
Oh, that's right. He'll actually leapfrog Faulkner as well. And hold on to a 1-2 for Yamaluke Star Racing Yamaha, who is having a spectacular summer. And they did have some bike problems earlier in the season, cost both the Martin brothers some points. I talked to Brad Hoffman, the team manager over there earlier today. I said, did you change anything for the reliability at Southwick? This track notoriously tough on engines, especially the 250s. And he said, honestly, we're already taking precautions after what happened there at High Point. So they were pretty sure they'd be okay today. And so far, so good for this team. Can Martin get Plessinger to get on the podium for the day?
Oh, he's trying. Look at that. Look at.
Oh, wait a minute. Tsubbaki's down. So that's going to give Martin 1 spot, and he says, I'll take 2. Goes around Plessinger, yeah.
That'll give him 2nd overall as well. But look at these guys. They actually have a clear visor that extends off the helmet. So when they duck from the roost, I don't know if you can see, but if you look at the visor, you'll see the extended clear plastic that actually Bell designed, which we've seen the past guys using things like old goggle lenses and things. This is basically a long extended version of the visor, and it's clear.
Oh,
Georgia, yeah, tell us about that.
Yes, this is brilliant. For years, they used to just tape on a lens of a goggle on the front of the helmet, but now this completely covers it, allows all the graphics to be seen. And not only is it just for rain, but for sand, roost, they can duck their heads, still kind of see through it. And you know what? If the rain comes, I think I'm just going to hold it on my head.
All right, don't put that thing down, because you never know with the weather out here. Jeremy Martin is passing guys in bunches, so he got the downed Tsubaki. He got Plessinger. Next rider up ahead is Alex Martin, his brother.
Oh, jeez. 2 laps to go. But he also got himself into a podium.
Oh, no!
Is that Tonus?
Is that Tonus? Or is that Faulkner? We're going to find out in a second. Everybody's numbers are completely buried, so it's hard to see when they're down late. It was Tonus.
It was Tonus. So a lot of guys making mistakes late in their day. And Jason, that's a product of a rough track, fatigue, everyone pushing the limit. So that really just, all the math just went out the window real quick. But right now the overall is Webb, Martin, and Faulkner. So Faulkner still holding on to a podium position as we look at Alex Martin. Probably not quite the day he was hoping for, but still in front of his brother.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy speed out of Alex Martin this year. Didn't see those flashes today. Did not get great starts either. And then, especially on this track, sometimes you get stuck behind the rider in front. Not much you can do. But he's going to hope that works in his favor right now. He'd like to keep his brother stuck behind him. Here comes Jeremy about to challenge Alex. We have seen Martin on Martin battles quite a bit this year. This, by the way, is this would be for 4th place now. They were behind Tonus. He crashed. So Alex is 4th. Jeremy is 5th. Plessinger comes through next. And then Tonus and Tsubaki picking it up, I think, a few spots behind them. You got Davalos and Osborne, then Tsubaki. Really rough day for Tsubaki. Could be looking at potentially Jeremy Martin moving into 2nd in the points when today is over. Depending on how this all shakes out. Certainly a lot of math to figure, especially with how inconsistent this class can be, moto to moto.
Yeah, it changes week to week. The momentum, the points, everything seems to just change so much in this 250 class, which is what makes it so exciting. But for Tsubaki, there's the leader, Cooper Webb, number 17, white flag, last lap. Look at it, just hopping around. He's very methodical right now. Watch him wheelie where he needs to, and then he's jumping, braking bumps. Basically what that does is it prevents you having to use your whole body to, imagine trying to do a push-up. That's what breaking into braking bumps is like. It's like doing little mini push-ups. But if you can hop through them, so much energy is saved, and half the time, you're going the same speed as just bulldogging. So we're really just having fun right now.
Well, it was a clean slate for a lot of these riders. We had not raced at Southwick in a long time. A few of these younger pilots like Webb, Jeremy Martin had only raced here once, and they were young at that time. The results are okay, just outside the top 10. I think they had some bike problems that day as well. So we really didn't have a good read on what they would do. We now know for sure, yes, Cooper Webb can ride Southwick. He can ride the sand. Yeah. He's made no doubt of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was something I was curious about too. Like, came with the points lead, What was the points leader going to do? Well, he just showed us. Like you said, he knows how to ride. Good riders are good riders. But sometimes everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So with Cooper Webb, you know, you always question where's his weakness, or where's he going to falter, where doesn't he like? Well, apparently Southwick's not one of them, man.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, when you go from winning 2 straight Supercross championships, tracks don't get much different between a Supercross and this sand track. You've proven you're pretty versatile in all conditions. Maybe we'll throw in a mutter this year just to put him last thing we can find.
We'll put them all through the test. Let's do it. All right, we called it. We're going to get a mutter. We just radioed in.
Yes,
it's going to happen.
Apologize to the fans at whatever track that is now bad to happen at. So Cooper Webb looking to power it home with 3 straight overall victories, and at the same time he's put this win streak together. All of the championship contenders have had crashes and mistakes, so his points lead continues to grow by the week. Now the burning question, that red plate on his bike, can he keep it for the rest of the year, or are we in for more drama, more twists and turns of the 250 Classic for Cooper Webb? Oh, is he going to chuck the goggles before the finish? Wow! Cooper Webb, 3 in a row, wins at Southwick. Yeah.
Impressive. You can tell how happy he is. Look at this battle.
Wait
this is
a minute.
for third.
Oh, Mcilrath! Oh, Mcilrath down hard.
Oh, my
Very
goodness.
hard. He tried to come into that corner so fast, and he went head first. Oh, that was scary to watch. Alex Martin was coming around the outside.
That was ugly to watch, but
Mcilrath was fighting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He crashed so hard, it actually blew his wrist brace off. Hope he's okay. I think he got a good knock to the head there.
Yeah.
So.
Man, that's scary to see. Webb headed to the podium. So that's going to give Alex Martin 3rd in the Moto. Should still be 2nd for Jeremy Martin overall, and Faulkner hanging on for a podium, which would be the 1st of his career. So good job by the rookie, who is also the fastest qualifier. All right, good to hear that Mcilrath is getting up after that hard hit.
On his own power.
Under his own power.
Good
All
stuff.
right, there we go. And there's some of the Troy Lee KTM personnel. We're going to show you this crash. This is just 2 guys on the last lap.
Duking it out.
Yeah.
Well, watch Mcilrath. You see him. He's charging. He's giving it everything. This is actually slightly off camera. Watch. The bike starts bucking from there. He was out of control early, and then right here. Oh. Yeah, the bike drilled him in the ground. See his wrist brace? It'll land. I mean, it literally blew his wrist brace off.
I think he actually didn't hit it head first. I think he actually did get the body down first.
Yeah, but watch the bike drills him in the back.
Oh, man. And that wrist brace went flying.
Getting body slammed by a 230-pound bike hurts.
All right, good to see that Mcilrath is functioning and talking to the team and the medics over there. Meanwhile, Cooper Webb doesn't even look like he put in 2 hard motors on a sand track. He's just hanging out.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Geico Motorcycle, see how much you could save on motorcycle insurance. And by Suzuki, champions choose Suzuki.
Great visions of great races in the past year at Southwick. We're back. The WIC 338 had a 3-year absence. At one point, the track was completely closed. Boy, is it ever back open for business. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay.
Well, just as the motos finish, the rain comes down, so that was just in time. Cooper Webb, 3rd overall in a row. It seems like things are clicking together. What are you going to do to really work on getting a start so you're not having to battle through the pack?
Oh, I actually got a whole shot that time, so it was nice. But no, I felt good all day. You know, that first moto I got a bad start, but I came back, and I know if I had a good start, I could really let it eat this race, and I like this track. Southwick's always one of the gnarliest, and just a sand, we need more sand tracks is what I've always said. So I love it here. The fans are awesome. You know, the New England guys are just crazy, and just want to give it up to the whole team. They've been working their butt off. You know, I've been working mine off, and it's just been, everything's been clicking. So I'm stoked. 3 in a row, and just keep it going. You know, never satisfied, and keep it going. But I couldn't do it without the Lord Jesus Christ. Most importantly, my mom and dad, whole Star Racing Yamalube team, Rockstar Energy, 100% Thor, Toyota Escondido, my mechanic Eric, Garrett Swanepoel, Real Deal, south of the border, just everybody. Thank you guys, and hopefully we keep it rolling.
Now, you were just shouting to some of your friends that are out there right now. I always wonder, at a race, is it hard to hear them? Oh, here they go. Only Cooper Webb would have a group of people like that. Hey, do you hear them, though, when you're on track? Can you hear them shouting for you?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, these New England fans, they don't care. They're just here for the love of racing and the love of Southwick. So, you know, I can dig that. True fans of the sport is always awesome. So I'm stoked to be back here at Southwick and with these crazy New Englanders.
Congratulations. Cooper Webb taking his 3rd overall of the season in a row.
Yeah, that's impressive. There's Mcilrath taking a ride with the team manager for Troy Lee Designs. That's Tyler Keefe. Yeah, man, tough one for him. We'll show you the Lucas Oil race recap. Mcilrath had a good start on the 30, but with the best start went to the 17 of Webb, who's able to just get by 49 of Martin Davalos. Davalos ended up 6th in this one. Mcilrath makes a quick pass to Davalos. Watch that 214 in green of Austin Fortner. He would get up to 2nd. And for a moment, we thought, oh, we might have a pass on Webb. Webb's cagey one. He wasn't going to let him go around the outside.
Yeah,
no.
the minute Faulkner got there, Cooper Webb just laid down the gauntlet and he put the hammer down and started taking off. But what a great ride. And then you look here, Jeremy Martin in the roost, probably a little lack of vision, just tucks the front end in this sandy Southwick turn, and then same turn, Tsubaki, watch the rear web, just clips the front end of Zach Osborne. He goes down, loses a bunch of valuable time. Good job, Alex Martin, avoiding him.
And Cooper Webb, things seem to be happening in all directions for everyone. Most of the riders having troubles. Cooper Webb, no problem week after week. 3 totally different racetracks, 3 straight overall wins. Jeremy Martin finishes 2nd. Faulkner is on the podium for the first time. Let's send it back to Georgia.
Wow, what an unbelievable race. Now, Jeremy Martin, in qualified, you've seen that a lot of people managed to catch their edge in the sand. It's very easy to do here at Southwick, but you managed to recover from it. How are you doing?
Yeah, you know, today was a good day for me. I haven't been on the podium for a while, so to get 2nd overall is good. You know, I got off to a pretty good start there in Moto 2. I tried to pass Mcilrath, and he got me back. And then he blew out a berm, and I lost the front end and went down. But you know, I felt like I had the speed today to match Coop in Moto 2, and I think it would have gone down to the wire, and bummed I went down.
Well, huge congratulations, 2nd overall, Jeremy Martin. Well done.
Well, you know, I got to say, at some point, we are going to literally the home track of Jeremy and Alex Martin next weekend at Spring Creek. So yet another challenge for Cooper Webb. We'll see how he handles that. We'll see if Jeremy can maybe get his 1st overall win of the season. Points, rough one for Tsubaki.
Well, how ironic, number 37 is now 37 points down. He was leading 2 rounds ago. Martin, both Martins right there.
Austin Fortner, 1st podium, Georgia.
Wow, I must say I'm proud of you, Austin Fortner. Huge congratulations there, number 215, 1st ever professional overall podium. Just tell me how you're feeling right now.
I'm super stoked. The first moto was good though. I got pretty good starts all day and just really charged hard at the beginning. And I was straight sending it in the 2nd moto, just trying to keep up with Cooper, and I actually almost made a pass over after the mechanics area, but man, I was sending it so hard, just trying to keep up, and kind of got winded the 2nd moto, so I just kind of tried to settle in and settle into a good pace. And the track, this is probably the most brutal track of the year. It was pretty much like survival mode from like the 20-minute mark on, just finish and not go down. I know a lot of guys did, so I was just trying to ride smooth and ride smart, and got an overall podium, and I'm super happy.
Huge congratulations. Austin Fortner with 1st ever podium, and I can see your dad over there just smiling as well. He is his practice bike mechanic at home.
First of what you'd have to think are many, many podiums for that young man. Here's our Lucas Oil upcoming schedule. Yes, we're going to Spring Creek in Millville, Minnesota. It's a track owned by the Martin family. First motos live on MAV TV. 2nd motos on NBCSN at 7 and 11 Eastern. You can always watch them live on ProMotocross.com or the NBC Sports Live Extra app. Let's go back to Georgia.
Yes, unbelievable motos today, like we've just said. Alex Martin 3rd in that 2nd moto. However, you really had to avoid Shane Mcilrath in that awful crash. Was it hard for you to really take that turn and make sure you didn't hit him?
Yeah, for sure. I had no idea it was for 3rd overall, or 3rd place in the moto, and Shane just kamikazed into that corner, and I knew there was some big braking bumps on the inside, and I was just like, this isn't going to end good. And thank goodness, you know, we didn't both go down. I hope he's okay. You know, but I was definitely a little nervous coming into the weekend. I had a really bad practice crash on Thursday, and I was a little bit banged up and just a little nervous. That I was hoping I could get through the weekend without losing too many points. And so to get on the podium in the second moto, you know, for sure I'm happy with everything, and just can't thank everyone enough. Star Racing, Yamalube, Yamaha, Rockstar, Deegan 38, Mickey Thompson Tires, Chad, Gareth Swanepoel, my mechanic Trevor, just everyone that's been behind me. You know, we made it through the weekend, and looking forward to Millville next weekend.
Well, glad you're doing okay. Well done on that second moto, and best wishes to Shane Mcilrath.
Another dynamic day of racing here at Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. But one thing that hasn't changed, as crazy as the 250 class is, Cooper Webb keeps on winning. For Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay, I'm Jason Wygant saying we'll see you next week from Millville. Congrats to Cooper Webb.